Hi everybody, we have a litter update for these 2-week-old mini Australian Labradoodle puppies. Hi, I'm Claire, and in today's video we are going to do a litter update for the 9 mini Labradoodle puppies from our Pinot Noir litter. These puppies at 2 weeks old have all sorts of things to tell you about in this video. We're going to go through each of the puppies, let you know a little bit about what they've achieved in terms of their milestones this past week, where they're at right now, and we'll also give you an update on Dottie. So if you take a look at all the puppies, you'll see that we have all 9 of these Labradoodle puppies here, but we have no Mama Dottie. Well, that's because Mama Dottie just had a visit from her guardian, Mama Marion, and Dottie is feeling a little out of sorts that she didn't get to go home with her Mama Marion. She's not happy about that at all. So she is just outside here. She's looking in at the puppies. She can see us. She can hear the puppies. She can see the puppies, but she's very close to the front door, hoping that her Mama Marion's going to walk through the door and probably take her home. So this is a very common thing for our mama dogs when they see their family. Dottie's an experienced mom, so we were perfectly happy to have Marion come and visit with Dottie. Dottie will get over everything within the next, probably 30 minutes or so. It's just when she first sees Marion, what she really wants is for her to be here with her and probably stay in the whelping box all the time with her too, because after all, she's her mom and she likes to be with her mom. But these little puppies here, they all still need their mama. And these Labradoodle puppies are 2 weeks old today. And at 2 weeks, we worm the puppies for the first time. And if you look on the back of light blue collar here, you'll see there's some signs that come from worming a puppy. Mainly what you see here is some poop. So when the puppies are wormed, they poop a little bit more. Sometimes it's a little bit yucky when it comes out. But that, of course, is the whole purpose of the worming. We want to get the worms out of their bodies. And because Dottie is outside right now, she hasn't been here to clean this up. So we may see a little bit of mess in this video, but not to worry. So sometimes people wonder, well, why do your puppies have worms? Are you not looking after them well? Are things not clean? All puppies have worms. So mama dogs, it doesn't matter if they're a Labradoodle or a Whippet, they all have a type of worm. All female dogs are born with a type of worm that remains dormant for the entire life of the dog until they become pregnant. Once they're pregnant, then that activates the worms, and then those worms are passed on to the puppies. So we worm our dogs before they're bred to get rid of any of the normal type of worms that dogs can pick up from any sort of thing in the environment. And then once we have puppies, we worm the puppies when they're 2, 4, 6, and 8 weeks of age, and we worm our mama dog at the same time. And we use one product, it's very gentle, it's called Strongid. We use that for all the wormings except for the last one when we use Interceptor. And we change brands just to be sure that we're capturing everything. We don't want to just use the same thing all the time, and perhaps somewhere along the line a little bit of a parasite is able to slip through. So this way, when we change the type of wormer we use, then we're sure that we're catching everything. And our dogs are all fed a raw diet, as you know. And one of the great things about being a raw-fed dog is you pretty much never have to be wormed again after those initial puppy wormings are done, unless you're a pregnant dog. Otherwise, generally speaking, they don't need to be wormed. Of course, you want to run a fecal every year to ensure your dog doesn't need to be wormed. But generally speaking, this is it as long as you keep them on a raw diet. So that's one of the main things that's happened to these puppies today. You can see them all, they're very happy without Dottie here. The puppy you can hear in the background is one of Sora's puppies. Sora is right next door, and it probably sounds like one of her puppies is a little annoyed that they don't have a good position at the milk bar. But these puppies, you can see they're all quiet, they're sleeping. Now you can see some twitching that goes on with the puppies. Right now you can see dark blue collar was twitching there. Black collar girl is also twitching, and so is orange collar boy, and so is dark pink collar here. Now, lots of times people think that the puppies are dreaming when they do that. Well, they're not actually dreaming. What is going on is nature has provided for the puppies to move while they're asleep in order to help them develop their muscles. Because puppies sleep so much, basically these puppies right now, all they do is eat and sleep, and that's it. They're not old enough yet to be playing or doing anything else. So if they're not eating, they're sleeping as they are right now. So if they didn't have movement going on while they were sleeping, their muscles would begin to atrophy and wouldn't be developing well. So this way, nature has provided for them to be pretty much in constant movement, even though they are pretty much constantly asleep. So it's a really ingenious way to help the puppies to develop even while they're sleeping. I wish that somebody could figure out how I could get a workout while I was sleeping. I think that'd be just the best thing ever. So that's why you see them doing all those little twitches and movements while they're sleeping. Sometimes they look like they're moving around in a very peculiar way, and sometimes you'll see that they're quiet. You can see brown collar girl here. She's not really moving too much at all. And green collar girl, she's shifting around a bit, but not constantly. So it's not happening all the time, and you'll see just in the course of this video how often that sort of thing will change. And now that I've said brown collar girl is not moving, you see she starts to move. So they do that quite regularly. So the other milestone that has occurred at this 2-week event is some of the puppies have their eyes open. Not all of them. Some of them are just starting to open, but some of them do have their eyes open the whole way. So when we bring each puppy up individually, we'll see if we can get them to open their eyes and show them to you. We took some pictures earlier today of the puppies as well, and the ones that were cooperative, you will see that their eyes are open. Those pictures will all be posted on our Facebook page. So we hope that all of you not only follow along on our YouTube videos, but also follow our Facebook page. So make sure you give us a like there and click along to follow, because we post lots of fun things on our Facebook page. And one of the things that just before we get to the individual puppies that I want to talk about today is sometimes on Facebook you'll see people refer to doodles. Not Australian Labradoodles, not Labradoodles, not golden doodles, but doodles. And you'll also see sometimes people saying, oh, they're not a breed. So first of all, doodles is a collective term that refers to any dog that's been bred with a poodle. It has no real relationship to any sort of breed. It's rather a meaningless sort of term, and it's often applied as a catch-all, and many times people make sweeping statements about doodles that are entirely inaccurate, because something that applies to an Australian Labradoodle does not necessarily apply to a golden doodle and doesn't apply to a sheepadoodle or a cavapoo. There are all sorts of variations of doodles. And our name is Van Isle Doodles. And at the time, our actual name is Vancouver Island Labradoodles. That is one gigantic mouthful, and it's a really long name. And when you're doing the dog's registered names, if you have Vancouver Island Labradoodles Rippled Effect, oh my goodness, it's forever on the page. So we shorten our name to Van Isle Doodles. Vancouver's been shortened, Island's been shortened, and Australian Labradoodle's been shortened. But this is something that people often do, and they do it in a derisive manner for Australian Labradoodles. And there is a difference between an Australian Labradoodle and a Labradoodle. A Labradoodle is a lab and a poodle. It's often incorrectly referred to as an American Labradoodle. What we have here, and what these puppies are that you're looking at here, these are multi-generation Australian Labradoodles. Australian Labradoodles, the difference between them and Labradoodles is there is a splash of Spaniel in the breed. That's what gives you more of that teddy bear look. It also gives you the different size, and it also gives you a slightly different coat. It gives you a little bit more of the straight coat. So that's the difference between an Australian Labradoodle and a Labradoodle. Now, lots of times you'll see on the internet, particularly on Facebook and Instagram and other socials, where people like to have very strong opinions, often without any factual basis. You'll see people say, well, Australian Labradoodles, they're not a breed. I'm going to differ with people on that. If you look up what the actual definition is for a dog breed, it says a dog breed is a particular strain of dog that was purposely bred by humans to perform specific tasks such as herding, hunting, and guarding. Dogs are the most variable mammal on Earth, with artificial selection producing around 450 globally recognized breeds. Australian Labradoodles fall within that definition, as do Golden Doodles. These dogs are specifically bred. Australian Labradoodles were originally specifically bred as a service dog that was hypoallergenic. And when we say hypoallergenic, we do not mean that these dogs are suitable for anyone who has allergies to dogs. They certainly are not. However, they only have one single coat, they have quite a lot less dander than most breeds of dogs, and they tend to be very low shedding. All dogs still shed to a degree. Just like your hair comes out of your head, these dogs are not completely shed free. If anyone tells you their dogs never shed a single hair, they're not being honest with you. But they are very low shed dogs. You can put these dogs on your black pants, and you can have a white Australian Labradoodle, and you will have no white hairs on your pants. But if you brush and groom and comb your Australian Labradoodle, there'll be coat in your comb. And if you have a dog in your home that's an Australian Labradoodle, you're going to find some little dust bunnies in your house that have some bits of hair in them. There's absolutely no question you will never have your floors with totally dog hair free. So just to make sure we've got that established. And that's what Australian Labradoodles were originally bred for. Now they're very selectively and purposely bred to be fantastic family dogs. That is their main function. They do not have as much of a job such as a herding dog would be. That would be a border collie, but they are bred to be specifically excellent therapy dogs, excellent service dogs, and fantastic family dogs. And they are specifically bred, purposely bred. They have pedigrees, and they are the same thing bred over and over. So Australian Labradoodles, it's true, you can still infuse one of those 3 foundation breeds, a poodle, a Labrador Retriever, or a Spaniel. You definitely can. But when you do that, that Australian Labradoodle is no longer referred to as a multi-generation Labradoodle. These puppies that you see in front of you here, and all of the Australian Labradoodle puppies from Isle Doodles, are all multi-generation dogs. We no longer do early gen breeding. We no longer do infused breedings. These puppies here are all, I believe, 12th generation Australian Labradoodles. I may be wrong, I don't count anymore. Once it's been Australian Labradoodle to Australian Labradoodle for 4 generations or more, then the dog is a multi-generation Australian Labradoodle. And a multi-generation dog, that is the definition. It's 4 generations of ALD, that's the short form for Australian Labradoodle, to ALD or more. And all of our dogs are that. So in this litter here, not only is multi-generational, but we have all 4 generations of these dogs here. So Peanut is the great grandma for these puppies, and she is our dog and lives here. And we've been working with that line since 2005. And then Ripple is Peanut's daughter, and she also lives with us. And Dottie is Ripple's daughter. Dottie lives with her guardian mom, Marion, who is here visiting seeing today. And these puppies are Dottie's daughters and sons. And they will all be going to their families, other than one puppy who's going to a breeder in Alberta, and one puppy who is going to be a breeding prospect for us, who will go live with Dottie and her guardian Marion. So we have all 4 generations in the house, which is really terrific. And if Peanut was not a multi-generation Australian Labradoodle herself, we would have achieved that with this litter because we would have had the 4th generation. So there's just a little bit of information on what actually makes a breed. It's not because it is a Labrador Retriever, which is recognized by 2 or 3 kennel clubs. It's because it's 2 dogs that are specifically bred together, and that same genetic makeup is bred over and over and over again. There's a pedigree, and that's how you get what a breed is. Every single type of dog in the world, whether it's a registered dog with the Canadian Kennel Club or it's a registered Australian dog with the Worldwide Australian Labradoodle Association, all started with more than one breed. Labrador Retrievers originally were multiple different breeds of dogs put together that over time became a lab to a lab. Same thing with an Australian Labradoodle. So now let's do the fun part. Let's meet the puppies and let's talk about them. So as always in the video, we're going to do this in birth order. And our first puppy born in this litter is Mr. Orange Collar Boy. Hi, buddy. Here we go. Now the puppies still can't hear. Their ears will open up probably over the next 10 days or so. And Mr. Orange Collar is not going to show us any eyes at the moment. He says, no, I am not ready to look at the world. I am just going to keep my eyes closed for the time being. This little boy is a beautiful chocolate boy. Cute little ears high up on his head, and he's got that little white goatee, and he's going to show you, oh my goodness, I just exhausted today. Then he's got this nice little bit of white blaze on his chest there. There you go. Hey, buddy. This guy is just a sweet little puppy. He's very much in the middle of the pack at the moment. And when I tell you about their personalities when they're only 2 weeks old, this is just what they're like today. These puppies are changing and developing every day, literally, every single day. So if I happen to say, oh, this is the quietest puppy in the litter, don't expect that to be the quietest puppy in the litter once they are, even 4 weeks old, never mind 8 weeks old. But this little guy is just a very calm, placid fellow. And when he was first born, he was the biggest in the litter, and he definitely is not now. He is now weighing 760 grams. So he's closing in on that 1 kilogram mark. Now, sometimes when we have mini Labradoodle puppies like this, people say, oh, I thought these were minis. How come they're growing so fast? And how come their weight is so close to the puppies who are medium Australian Labradoodle puppies? Well, that's because when they're little, they grow like crazy, and they keep going for a little bit of time, and then you will see when we get to around the 5-week point, they're going to level off, and their weight gains will not be continuing at the same pace as the mediums. Well, the pace isn't what's different, but it's the amount. So you may have them start fairly close in birth weights. Mediums will be a little bit larger than minis to start with, but all puppies grow tremendously quickly over the first few weeks, and then that growth slows down. So that's our handsome little chocolate boy, Mr. Orange Collar, who I hope can manage to stay awake to get put down here. Next, after that, we have Black Collar Girl, and that's this little black and white party here. She is pretty much a clone of her mama Dottie, except she has 2 black eye patches, whereas Dottie only has 1. Now this little girl, now that she's 2 weeks old, and we have some colors developing, and she does have her eyes open. They're pretty much just slits, and you can just really see the slits. She doesn't want to open them all the ways up right now. But this little girl, now that her pattern has developed a little bit more, she's a tri. She's just exactly the same as Dottie. So this puppy is a phantom and a party. That's what makes a tri. Now you cannot see any of her phantom markings because Her feet, of course, are white, and so is her chest. But if you look at her chit here, which is her eyebrow in essence, you can see there's that telltale phantom sign. And inside her ears, we can also see as well that phantom marking, because this is where we have the black coloring. And if we just turn her around here and we take a look at her vent area, we'll see as well there's that phantom marking. Oh, and there's a big yawn for my little baby. Yes, a great big yawn. So this week we're handling the puppies more than we were last week. That will continue to increase as time goes on. The puppies only have so much tolerance, and you don't want to overstimulate them, and you don't want to do anything too much. You want to keep everything nice and calm and even for them. My favorite thing on this little girl is that black beauty spot. I just love that little black spot on her. And Miss Black Color Girl was the smallest puppy when she was born, and she still is the smallest, but she's already up to 560 grams. All of these puppies are fat, juicy, very well-fed puppies. There's no shortage of groceries for these puppies. Next puppy is Yellow Collar. Hello, Yellow. Hello, mellow Yellow. Yellow, hi. Yellow is a little boy, and he is a chocolate, and his eyes are open, and he's actually got one open. So I hope you can see that on the video where he is showing us his eyes. I can really see lots here on the left eye. This is a puppy who is also very similar to his brother Orange Collar, right in the middle of the pack. A Black Collar Girl there that I was showing you before, she is a strong silent type. She's a quieter puppy, but holy cow, she has no problem holding her own, even though physically she's the smallest puppy. Look at you, handsome boy. And of course you will hear me talking, and as I said though, they still cannot hear anything that I'm saying. And Mr. Yellow Collar is up now to 790 grams. And you can see on this puppy, if you put your little paw out, just a little smidge here of phantom markings. So he is not a phantom because that's about it that he's got. He's not a sable because Dottie's not a sable and neither is Tig, but he does have a little bit of those phantom markings coming through. Sometimes when you have a phantom, you can have what's called a very weak phantom, or you can have a leaked phantom. And Tig, who is the daddy to this litter, is a leaked phantom. So I suspect that might be exactly what Mr. Yellow Collar is as well. Next we have Pink Collar Girl. Hello, pretty. Now, if you just look at this girl's coat, I mean, gracious, it's just like a mirror. She is the shiniest puppy. There she is. Now this little girl is an ebony phantom with tons of white marking on her. Lots of times you'll hear breeders refer to this as being a tri rather than Black Collar Girl, who is a tri by definition. This girl is not a tri. She's not a party. She's just heavily marked with the white. She's got a little bit of faux tuxedo markings going on here. She's not a tuxedo either because she doesn't have the white around the back of her neck. But she does have beautiful large amounts of white markings. Her eyes are just about open. We got some slits going on. Miss Pink can be a fussy budget. She seldom likes to sit still when you're holding her. She's always squirming around, and she's really good with the other puppies. She's not as squirmy there. She certainly doesn't fuss or anything, but when you pick her up, generally speaking, she's never as quiet as this. Usually she's got her legs out and she's rolling around, and when you're trying to weigh her, she doesn't want to be still on the scale at all. Isn't that right, Pink? And this girl is now the biggest puppy in the litter, and she is a solid 800 grams today. So I suspect that by next weekend we may have her at a kilogram. Maybe not quite, but I suspect we'll be getting pretty darn close if we're not there. And she has some really good sized paws too. She has quite the generous amount of foot going on there. You gonna open your eye at all? No, she says I'm not gonna show anybody my eyes. No, definitely not doing that. Next we have Green Collar. Now Green Collar is this either apricot or caramel puppy. And as I've said previously, that will depend on whether she ends up with black or brown pads and a black or brown nose. If they're brown, it's a caramel. If they're black, it's an apricot. This is our little spot of trouble. This one is forever walking around, checking out different areas, and then all of a sudden goes, huh, where's everybody? I don't know where everybody is. I'm gonna scream, help, help, come and save me. Not last night, but the night before, this little puppy had us up, or had me up. I think it was my turn to do night duty at least 4 times because she was off wandering around on some exploration mission. And I had to come and put her back where she belonged. Then she'd go, oh, okay, that's great. 2 seconds later, she'd turn around and take off again. So I think this is going to be a puppy that maybe likes to do lots of exploring. Who knows? She does not have her eyes open yet, but they will be open, I would suspect, probably tomorrow. You can see the slit is very strongly evident there. And I'm just going to turn her over. She'll probably fuss and tell me not to do it. And see, yeah, I still can't quite tell if these are black or brown pads, but I'm leaning towards this being an apricot because definitely the color around her nose and her lips is looking a little bit more black than brown. So Miss Green Collar, she weighs 650 grams. So she's the second smallest puppy in the litter. But I think that's probably because she burns up all her calories on all these nighttime forays all over the place. Oh my goodness, what a character she is. And then the other apricot girl in the litter is our brown collar girl. And she definitely is an apricot. There's no question. You can see when you look at her nose and you can see her eyes. Yay, she's gonna show her eyes. Finally, we have a puppy showing eyes. But you can tell from her lips that you just saw there from that big yawn and from her nose that those are definitely black. Yes, she's got a little bit of a drooly nose there. We just clean that up. Yeah, oh, there you go. Did you have your nose under somebody and get it all sweaty? This little puppy is going to just be the prettiest little dog when she grows up with this gorgeous apricot and white party coloring. She's got those symmetrical eyes just like black color does. And then she has the signature Grandma Ripple and Mama Dottie half ear, where we have half color and half white. And she has it on both sides. Yeah. That's one of my favorite features in a dog. And then she's got this beautiful, all sorts of white on her face here, followed by this really generous amount of caramel, or apricot rather, on her head. This little one is nothing like her sister Green Collar, her fellow apricot puppy. She is much quieter and she is much less likely to be wandering around. Indeed, I would say in this litter, this is so far the puppy that's probably the quietest overall, least likely to be trying to push ahead anywhere, and really just a very quiet little girl, and so pretty. And brown collar girl weighs 670 grams. So she and Green, the two apricots, are very close in size. I see my little brown collar girl. And thank you for showing us your eyes. Your other sisters and brothers are not so generous to show everybody their eyes. There we go, put you down there. Next we have light blue. Now light blue used to be the big hulk in the litter. Light blue is the one who's got some poop on his back here. Now the reason why this is still here and I haven't washed it off is because we don't like to get the puppies wet. We don't want them to be cold, and we do not want to have water on them unless there's some absolutely compelling reason to do so. Dottie, when she comes back in after she gets over her, oh, where's my mommy? She'll come in and she'll lick that off and she'll take care of it. I much prefer to let mums do everything, keep their puppies clean, rather than me interfering and trying to do things. Oh, there we go. Are you going to show your eyes? Yes, you are. There's those big, beautiful eyes from Mr. Light Blue Collar. And you can see he's got lots of smooshy black around his nose here. He even has some smooshy black on his paws here. Right at the front, you can see some smooshing going on. And if we flip him over, which he never minds, you can see he's already got lots of black color going on the pads of his feet. This is the cuddle bug of the litter. He just loves to be held. He will do anything to have attention. He already knows when you come into the box that, oh, the human is here, and he'll wiggle his way right over to me and ask to be picked up already. So this is the little cuddle bug, even though he's not so little. Just a big soft ball of mushy cuddles. That's all you are. And Mr. Light Blue is 750 grams. So he's just a tad less than Miss Pink Collar is. And you can see he's just always kind of like, oh yeah, life's good. He's very Vancouver Island-like, very chill. That's my light blue collar boy. After him, we have dark pink collar girl. Here, there you go, buddy, with your poopy back. Dark pink collar girl is this chocolate girl. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. She's very similar in her looks to orange collar boy. Again, an adorable little high ear set. I just love when their ears are up high. It makes them look so cute, and it is what the breed standard calls for. She's got a nice little broad head, little short nose, not showing any eyes. She has that same goatee and the white blaze on her chest that her brother Orange Collar has. A little bit of white on her tail lights here. And I think she has a little, no, she doesn't have a white tip on her tail. No, never mind, you don't have that. This little girl, she's pretty quiet too. Another in the middle of the pack dog. She doesn't wander off like her sister Green and get herself into trouble. But she doesn't have any trouble finding the milk bar and managing to just have a good life and enjoy everything. And dark pink collar girl is 700 grams. And our last puppy in the litter is dark blue collar boy. Here. I just put you down. There you go, little sweetheart. There. When I put them back down, I always like to give them a cozy spot to go back into. We don't want to leave them out on their own. So again, this is all part, every time we touch them, of them learning and associating people, good. People, comfort. All something that we want to be sure that we continue to reinforce with the puppies multiple times a day. And here's dark blue collar boy, our last born puppy in the litter. Another gleaming ebony phantom boy. Hi. Hi, Joe. And he too has quite a lot of white on him. Not as much white as Pink Collar Girl has. This little smoosh of white that he has up here, it looks a little bit like a wishbone right now. This will all but disappear as he gets older because the black hair will be, there'll be so much more of it that the white will just be really inside and you won't notice it as much. He's got lots of pretty white on his nose there, good amount of white goatee, and then lots of white on his chest and his tummy. And then again, he's got a little tail light going on here. Yeah, hi, yeah, and I'm going to show your eyes. There we go. So we got both of the phantoms are showing us their eyes today. Yeah. You show again? Yeah. You know, to see, it's so silly. Eh? I talk and I ask them questions and they can't even hear me. But anyways, he gave you a short little glimpse of his eyes there. And Mr. Dot Blue Collar Boy is 690 grams. Yeah. And he got a little bit of runniness on her nose there. Clean that up. So most of the puppies are in the 6s. We've got the 1 in the 8, a couple in the 7s, and then our sweet little black collar girl who's 560. So she's still our little tiny one there. And you can see how they're all piled up right next to me because Dottie's not here. So this is how dogs, when they're little like this and have no other sensory ability, this is how they find each other and they find Dottie. Their noses have little heat sensors in them, so they can sense that, oh, there's a body and there's some heat. And so you can see how they're all focused inward, all of their noses pointing, pretty much all of their noses, maybe not you, brown color girl, pointing in towards that source of heat, because of course that source of heat is their place of survival, because that's what is normally a milk bar. And you can see here Mr. Light Blue Collar in the typical Australian Labradoodle frog pose with his legs hanging out behind him like that. I think that's because he has to accommodate that big belly. He's still the widest puppy, even though he's not the heaviest. He's still the widest by far out of all of them. So that's our update for this 2-week litter update for our Pinot Noir litter. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, if you want to know anything more about Australian Labradoodles, what makes a multi-gen, the difference between all the doodles that there are in the world, or anything whatsoever, please just ask away in the comments. I'm always happy to answer any of your questions. If you happen to be a new breeder and you have some new questions, old questions, any sort of question about breeding, please feel free to reach out with those as well. Teaching new breeders and mentoring them is something I'm very passionate about and love to do, and I really enjoy helping new breeders out and answering any questions they have. And same thing, if you have any questions about colors, patterns, anything to do with Australian Labradoodles, don't hesitate to ask in the comments. And if you enjoyed our video and you feel inclined, please give us a thumbs up, and we hope you're subscribed to our channel as well. And thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all again in a week's time. Easy babies.